All right, somebody asked me to do a video on ABGs and I wanna make them super simple, really quick. ABGs are the arterial blood gases. We go into the radial artery, we take blood out of the artery, not like a vein that we use to like send out a CBC or a BMP to check the electrolytes and blood counts and stuff like that. We take it out of the radial artery and we're trying to test the pH of the blood. Remember that from chemistry, if something is more acidic or more alkaline or neutral. And then we are also trying to see what the blood gases are, the oxygen, the bicarb, the carbon dioxide. An arterial blood gas is never to diagnose the patient. It's usually to see, oh shoot, how bad is the diagnosis that they have? Whether it is pneumonia, respiratory failure, diabetic ketoacidosis, something metabolic happening, how bad is it? The ABG is gonna tell you how bad it is. So number one, start with the pH, okay? The little sweet spot that we all need to live in is 7.35 to 7.45. It's a tiny little sweet spot. If it's less than 7.35, it's acidosis. If it's more than 7.45, it is alkalosis. Acidosis has less letters, lower pH. Alkalosis has more letters, higher pH. Then I want you to look at the CO2. Normal CO2 is between 35 and 45. And CO2 is an acidic, saucy bitch. So when there's too much CO2, carbon dioxide, you're gonna have a more acidic environment. The only thing that fucks up CO2 is gonna be how fast or slow you breathe, because you breathe in oxygen and then it goes into your lungs and then the little alveoli do a little gas exchange and then takes the oxygen from the blood, or takes the oxygen from the air that you breathed in, puts it into the blood, and then it throws in the CO2, the byproduct, and then you breathe out the CO2. So if you're hyperventilating, you're gonna breathe out so much CO2. That's why people get dizzy when they hyperventilate, because they're losing CO2. And that's why they say breathe into a paper bag, so you breathe back in the CO2 so the levels don't drop. Make sense? Okay, after you look at the pH and you look at the CO2, the carbon dioxide, then you look at the bicarb. The bicarb is a boring, basic pacifist bitch where she's always like, can we just like get along, guys? Can we just like neutralize the situation? Bicarb neutralizes the acid. So high bicarb makes you more alkaline. Low bicarb makes you more acidic. The only thing that fucks up bicarb is gonna be your kidneys. Your kidneys controls whether you get rid of it or you keep it. Now let's do a little fake question. Here's a case study where you have like a ton of information. So the nurse notes that Mrs. Johnson is a 65-year-old female admitted to the medical surgical unit with a diagnosis of community-acquired pneumonia. She has a history of asthma, COPD, and hypertension. The patient ER complaints were weakness, diminished breath sounds in the right lower lobe, and a productive cough with yellow sputum. CBC reveals a white blood cell count of 24,000. Chest x-ray reveals consolidation with patchy opacities. Later in the shift, the ABG results are as follows. The pH is 7.16. The PiCO2 is 80. The PaO2 is 46. The bicarb is 24. The O2 sats are 81%. What is this? So let's start with that pH. Is the pH low or high? Ooh, it's lower than 7.35, so it's acidic. Eliminate B and D right away because they're talking about alkalosis. Now you're 50% closer to the answer. Now, let's look at the symptoms. Are the symptoms happening in this patient's lungs? Yeah, she came in with like diminished breath sounds and she's coughing up sputum, gross, and she's diagnosed with pneumonia. That's happening in the lungs. So it's respiratory acidosis. We are working med-surg, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have a COPD patient who is stable. Stable means they're breathing on their own. There's nothing going wrong. They are on 2 liters of oxygen, and the ABG comes back and it shows a pH of 7.33, a carbon dioxide of 58, and a bicarb of 32. What is the priority nursing action? We have A, maintain oxygen to keep the SpO2 between 88 and 92%. Place the patient on a non-rebreather 15 liters, give sodium bicarb, or prepare for emergent intubation. They told you the patient is stable. They're breathing on their own. The only reason you need to intubate is if they can't breathe on their own and you gotta mechanically vent them. They're venting just fine on their own. Their ventilation is happening just fine. So we don't need to intubate. The sodium bicarb is high. Why would I wanna give more bicarb if it's already high? That's why C is out. Would you ever put a COPD patient on 15 liters of oxygen? Jesus, no, you would not do that. That would trap so much oxygen in the lungs. It would cause more issues. Never putting a COPD patient on a high flow, that many liters of oxygen. So then the answer is A, by process of elimination. I hope that made sense. I know this was a longer video, but hopefully you can like just save it and watch it again in pieces and rewind it and fast forward it if you need to. If you want any video requests, put it right there. I'll make videos for you. I'm also going to be posting a longer form video about ABGs on my YouTube channel, so keep an eye out for that. It's the same as my TikTok name, Nurse Meg RN. And I have a website, nursemegrn.com, where I have free practice questions, free study groups. Go check that out. I love you so much.